Hey guys, and welcome back to the Game Not Game podcast. My name is Green, and with me, as always, is my co-host and Japanese correspondent. Well, he's not Japanese. He's my correspondent about Japan, Zen. How you doing, Zen?
I'm doing okay, and I was going to say that we are kind of light on topics this week, but I realized that there was a Japanese thing that I could talk about maybe later on if we really do run out of topics. So it's a good intro, very spontaneous.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my favorite thing is when you dig up shit about like Japanese light novels. It's the
best. No, I don't have that this week. Although I'm sure they'll come by. It's a regularly occurring feature now, much like Patent of the Month or whatever the hell that was. I should have looked for patents actually before the podcast saying it was so light this week. Maybe I'll do that later on.
I forgot about that. That's really good though. Okay, yeah, next time. Anyway, enough about news we don't have. Here's some news we do have. It's Twitch news.
Yeah. We could also say it's twitch.tv/news.
Yeah. Twitch, :news. So I didn't actually watch this, but you did.
A little bit. Yeah, so what this is we don't usually talk into much about politics on this podcast, and we're not going to go very much into details, the actual political, like, dust-ups and whatever this time around. But the former FBI director of the United States, James Comey, he had a hearing at the Senate today, and it's a pretty big deal. All of the major news outlets were covering it. It was, as I understand it, on broadcast news. It was also being streamed live on YouTube. But what I wasn't expecting was for Twitch to get into the act by hosting the hearing on they're calling, I guess, twitch.tv/news. That was a big surprise to me because even though they had shown the debates between Hillary Clinton and Trump last year, I was thinking that it would probably be that kind of a thing, like a planned event, kind of every once in a while thing. So this totally took me by surprise, right? And
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you say you didn't watch it, right?
I did not.
Yeah.
I was asleep.
It's okay.
Is that like 9 to noon or something? What am I gonna do? Just wake up and watch fucking former FBI director talk about how much he hates the president? Come on, I can just read about it on Twitter afterwards.
Pretty much. I mean, Twitter is basically the land of hot takes nowadays anyway, so
it's so good. I follow enough people on Twitter who have their fingers on the pulse of this shit that I almost instantly know about anything important without actually having to watch anything. Like, they'll just pick out the good shit and I can just live know what's happening and also not have to focus on it. It's so good.
I mean, pretty much for me too, because I'm busy working all the time. I didn't really watch the thing, or I wasn't listening to it live. I figured I could just get the details later on, right?
Yeah, and you could just glance at chat. I'm sure they were a hot take machine as well.
Oh, chat! There were 32,000 people when I was watching.
Sorry, what number was that?
32,000.
32,000.
Yeah, 32,000 people in the chat. So it was basically as awful as you could think. You think it might be. And, it was memes on both sides, right? The people yelling fake news and the people yelling impeach Trump. So pretty much that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I wish I had seen that, if nothing else. That sounds good.
I should have taken some screen captures, actually.
Oh, Kofifi. I forgot about Kofifi.
Kofifi.
I was live on stream when that happened. People started asking, what does Kofifi mean in chat? And we were like, we didn't know what happened. And then somebody linked the Trump tweet and it was great.
Yeah.
We got our live unadulterated takes on it.
Man,
it's been Doxy's Dark Souls stream every Tuesday. Random pitch. I'm on him.
It's been an incredible news cycle overall, I think. Like for the last 4 months, almost unrelenting.
Yeah. I was trying to think of podcast topics this week, and I was like, what the hell happened except for like infinite political shit that we didn't get into? Nothing.
Man, somebody should trademark Kofifi. They might get sued by Trump, but they could.
Oh shit. Okay, this is actually a really good. It's tangentially political, but it's very excellent. The dog rates Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the We Rate Dogs. So if you don't know this is this dumbass Twitter account that just takes cute pictures of dogs and, quote unquote rates them by saying like, oh, this is Arnold. He's a turtle actually, and it's like a dog wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles costume, and then he's like 13 out of 10, and pretty much every dog gets at least an 8 out of 10, and it's very often over 10 out of 10. And that's the Dog Rates Twitter account. So this guy made a fucking hat that just says Kofifi AF on it. And started selling it, and then was like, I'm going to donate half the proceeds from this hat to Planned Parenthood. And then apparently some people got really mad about that and were like, this is bullshit. You don't bring your fucking politics into this account. Like, what you should have done is just donated it to a dog shelter, because you're about dogs. You shouldn't do politics. So then the poor guy had to come on with a big apology, like, you're right, I shouldn't have fucking brought politics into this dog rating Twitter account. This is serious business. So he's now donating 100% of the proceeds, half to Planned Parenthood because he said he would, and the other half to a local dog shelter.
Nice.
So that's the tale of the Kofifi hat, which, by the way, who the fuck would buy a hat that says Kofifi AF on it? The take I had as soon as I saw that hat was, in 3 days, you're going to have to explain to people what that hat says. The hat is not going to ship to you before the meme is already going to be dead.
Right. By the way, let me just quickly explain the meme if you are not paying attention to Trump news. What happened was that Trump did a very hasty tweet, I think. And then
fell asleep while he was tweeting.
Something along those lines happened. Right. And I think he meant to say coverage, but he ended up writing Kofifi instead.
Yeah. He wrote part of a tweet. He was like, news media has been so unfair to me, the Kofifi, and that's the end of the tweet. And I'm pretty sure what happened was he was typing on his smartphone, got to a point where he badly misspelled coverage, accidentally submitted the tweet without letting autocorrect fix it, and then forgot what he was doing. However, the official word from the White House is Sean Spicer, best press secretary of all time, got up and somebody asked him, a reporter asked him at a press conference, should we be concerned about the president just kind of tweeting incoherently? And Sean Spicer's response to this was just deadpan, straight face. The president and a select group of people know exactly what he was talking about.
Yep. So that's the story of Kofifi. If you are one of those select group of people, please do not tell us, what the secret message is.
Game.gamemail@gmail.com. The world needs to know. Yeah, and I want to break this story so badly. I want to know what Kofifi means.
Actually, if you have your own personal theory as to what Kofifi means, please email us. You can email us. Just send it to us. We'll see.
Put it in the comments. Whatever you want to do with it. Get that information out. Put it on WikiLeaks.
Well, the reason I brought up the Amazon news thing was not so much to bag on Trump, even though I tend to like to do that sometimes.
It's Twitch news.
What?
You said Amazon news. It's Twitch news.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, it's Twitch news. Sorry about that. Yeah, but that leads into, actually, I was thinking about something with Amazon. That's probably why I made that mistake, because I don't know what Twitch intends for this channel. It might be just absolutely nothing after this, or they might try to actually do some newsy stuff, right?
I wonder.
And the reason I say this is because, well, Amazon owns Twitch, and Amazon also owns the Washington Post, or rather, Jeff Bezos does. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Holy
yeah,
shit.
in fact, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get a discount on the Washington Post subscription.
Okay. Mm-hmm. God, that would be so interesting because, like, so far I've really liked the way they've handled Twitch news stuff, like the debates and shit, because all they've done so far is streamed things that you would have wanted to watch live. Like, they haven't gone the way of TV news media, which I feel like is increasingly a dead medium in favor of, like, for younger generations, people prefer to read their news rather than watch it, I think, because video news tends to try to waste your time, and shit. It's a much more elaborate version of clickbaiting, where instead they try to make you sit in front of the TV for hours at a time. So, and I think people are fed up with that at this point. However, there are still occasionally things that you really want to watch live, like the debates or the Comey hearing, like actual live events, and Twitch is just streaming them live without, interpretation, without fucking like headers and shit all over it. Like a TV news outlet would do, and instead just saying like, oh, here's something the internet's going to be interested in, so for this hour or two we're going to stream it, and that's it. I'd be really concerned if they started trying to create like an actual live 24-hour news source like a TV station. I don't know if that would go over well.
Well, I don't think, and my own suspicion is that they would not do that, right?
Yeah.
I think getting an editorial voice for Twitch would be really challenging and not really all that relevant.
Choice is what it would be.
Yeah.
It would totally take objectivity away from them, and just like it would be super weird.
Right.
It would be completely inappropriate, I feel.
Right. So, but the reason I brought it up is because there's always that possibility, given that Amazon also owns Washington Post.
Yeah.
And I can see somebody, which I still think this is a bad idea, but I can see somebody maybe saying, look, you know what? Vice did it for the 20 to 30s audience. Why can't we come in and do it for our audience, right? Or Twitch's audience demographic.
Yeah. Yep.
So that could definitely happen.
Yeah.
The other thing is maybe they will just do video game news. I don't know. Seems unlikely also, but that seems more along the lines of what Twitch should be known for.
That would be so weird if they just took the same channel that they streamed the Comey hearing on and were just like, by the way, now we're starting a weekly video game news thing. Like, what? Okay, sure.
Hey,
Yeah.
stranger things have happened.
What they might do is just get fucking like Man versus Game and shit and just put them on a panel and have them talk about politics.
Oh,
Get JonTron in there.
Oh, shit. I was just thinking about JonTron last night. I haven't heard anything from him in a while.
Yeah, he's... I don't know what happened to him, actually. Everybody stopped talking about him, and I don't know if that's because he shut up or everybody got bored of him.
Yeah, I don't think he shut up. He hasn't had the ability to shut up during the peak of the crisis, let alone later on, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, weird. Did we cover the JonTron thing on the podcast?
We did, actually.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know what he's up to, but, I might look it up just as an update.
Yeah, probably just being racist some more.
Yeah, that's really disappointing to me, because I did like his videos.
I never got into him.
Yeah?
I was never... What was he, Rooster Teeth or Game Grumps? Game Grumps. Right?
Yeah, he was one of the founding members of Game Grumps, but typically, but before that, he has his own videos. He was associated with Normal Boots, I think.
Right. Yeah, I've known his name for a really, really long time, but I never actually watched any of his stuff until people started posting his racist diatribes all over. This was my first exposure to his actual content.
I mean, except for a tendency to be a little bit self-indulgent, he's actually pretty good in terms of his comedy videos. He's got great comic timing. It's just, then all of this shit happened and I decided not to watch his videos anymore.
Yeah. Yep. Hard to blame you.
Yep. Oh, I do have an update actually on a streamer that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, come to think of it. And that would be Ice Poseidon, who got swatted on a plane, right?
Yes, okay.
Yeah, apparently people swatted him again, and this time around the police accosted him or confronted him while he was in the car and pointed a gun at him. So
wow.
And then took all his camera equipment away because somebody called him in as a threat.
Wow.
So I have no idea
being
how
called in as a threat means they take all of your camera equipment away from you.
I don't know. I
Man,
mean, I'm sure they'll give it back if they find nothing. Hopefully, yeah. But I don't even know how he can do his job anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, it seemed like he was pretty well off. He might be able to buy more camera equipment.
Yeah, he's not smart though. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
if
I guess just the risk of people calling in more shit on him is pretty big.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate.
He's got to travel to a place that it's very unlikely that anybody would know, and then just be more careful about street signs and stuff. Just go wander around, like, I don't know, North Korea or something. That's high risk, high reward, though. If somebody does identify where in North Korea he is,
swatted by Kim Jong-un.
I was gonna say, I don't think getting swatted in North Korea would be very fun at all.
No, not at all. Unfortunately it's off to the gulag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what a sad tale.
Yep. And also, actually, this is awful. There is a guy in Taiwan. So Ice disappeared off of Twitch. He was very popular, right? And so
let's really quick. Ice Poseidon, we talked about him on an earlier episode, and basically he's one of these real life streamers who just will wander around a place or like stream himself in an airport or something, and just like stream his life. And he kind of implicitly encouraged the chat to like fuck with him by doing stuff like, oh hey, here's my plane ticket with my exact flight number and everything, and then people would call in a bomb threat on the plane. That's this guy. He would do that on Twitch and get massive amounts of money in ad revenue and donations and stuff.
Yeah, yep. He's on YouTube streaming now. I mean, so if you want to watch his antics, you can go there.
Yep, Ice Poseidon.
Yep. But ever since then, you know, Ice is gone. So other in real life streamers have started rising up, and one of them is his name is CJ Wright, I want to say. And he lives in Taiwan. So he's this white guy living in Taiwan. And I mention his race because they'll become pertinent later on. Right. And he speaks pretty good Chinese. All right. So he live streams himself wandering around, you know, various sites in Taiwan, showing off the attractions, so on and so forth, his life in Taiwan. And yesterday he was on a kind of sort of a date. All right.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know, right?
Don't stream a kind of sorta a date.
I know.
Come on, man.
I know. So this girl who this girl is aware of what Twitch is. She's a gamer as well. Okay. So, you know, it kind of makes it a little less bad, even though they were having a date with, you know, at least 1,500 other people in chat talking to them.
I mean, surely she agreed to it, right?
She agreed to it. She was reading the chat herself. So this is the weirdest date I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Oh, it gets crazier. Believe me, it gets crazier.
You're gonna have people backseating both parties.
Yeah.
In a date. Oh my god. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So here's the problem, right? Somebody in Taiwan, and this kind of thing is not restricted to America by any means. Somebody in Taiwan apparently took a bunch of clips from him and edited them out of context to make it look like he was making fun of Taiwan, right?
Oh no.
So he got brigaded. All right. While he was out on this date, he got brigaded by Taiwanese people yelling at him in Chinese, right? And that's even my worse,
least favorite shit.
Yeah, it gets even worse. Believe me. A tabloid news station, Apple News, I think, in Taiwan, so forgive me if I'm wrong here, stream sniped him, right? He was just in Taipei somewhere. They figured out where he was. You know, a guy with a camera and a news reporter shows up and starts interviewing him about that video.
I love that you use the term stream sniping. Oh my god, that's so good. Let me define the term stream sniping so you can know how funny this is to me. Stream sniping is when you're like in a Dota game or something and you're a really famous Dota streamer. So somebody recognizes your username and then goes to your stream and can see what your team is up to.
Yeah.
And is able to win the game because they have information they're not supposed to have. So I love that fucking idea of stream sniping somebody in real life, just figuring out where they are. Oh man.
Hello, Augustine, Sean Augustine. Hey. How are you doing today?
What's up, Dog Lover and Sean Augustine? Hey!
Thank you for the raid.
Yeah. How's it going? We're talking about stream sniping people in real life.
I can't take credit for that, by the way. It was the chat's use of the word stream sniping.
Okay,
But-
that's great though.
Yeah, but the poor guy had to answer questions, not on his stream. I mean, on his stream to Taiwanese news as they were trying to like get a rise out of him, right? Because
Jesus Christ.
yeah, it's gotten to this point now. Like the real life, the IRL category in stream is just insane now because of the crazy things that just keep happening. And I don't necessarily think it's a good thing because there's a lot of harm that can be done. But that's why people watch it nowadays.
Yeah, that's a brave new vision of the future.
It really is.
Walking around fucking giving commentary on your real life. I can't even imagine trying to do that, just like walking down the street giving running commentary. I would be so embarrassed about every single fucking person who heard me.
I could definitely do that if number one, I wasn't so careful about my privacy, and number two, I don't want to get stream sniped, so to speak.
Yeah, right. But I don't know, you could walk through like a grocery store and just be like, oh, I'm gonna pick up this onion, this looks pretty good, we'll just put that in the cart. Oh man, I should get some bacon, like just give you a running commentary the same way you would for a video game.
So
I don't
Green,
know, man.
I'm not going to say too much, but you know me. I could give a lot more interesting commentary in a grocery store than that.
Oh, I know that. No, sorry,
Yeah.
it was the idea I was trying to get across. Like, I'm sure,
Yeah.
obviously it would be gripping. I'm just worried about all the other patrons of the grocery store.
Yeah, man. Oh man. The all the other patrons for sure would, but I think for me anyway, I think doing that in a supermarket would be a lot of fun. It's just that I would be concerned that the security would throw me out.
Yeah, right. Oh, we got a crazy guy just walking around talking to himself, holding his phone out and everything.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So anyway, the next day, or he comes back online. He does a live quote unquote press conference, right? In which he's like in a dress and suit and everything. Not in a dress, but he's in a suit, right? And he apologizes for. He says he littered, like he was caught on stream littering. He said, "I threw a fish ball into the bushes." He actually said that.
Sorry, a fish bowl?
A fish ball. It's a ball made of fish.
Okay.
Made of cod meat. Right.
That makes a lot more sense than a fishbowl. I was like, what? Why would you stream yourself literally in a fishbowl?
But yeah. And apparently somebody in the Taiwanese government saw this and then summoned him and said that he might get up to 100 hours of community service for doing that.
What? It's fish.
It's littering,
biodegradable.
Apparently.
It's biodegradable, man. It doesn't count as litter if it's just gonna be eaten by pigeons.
Yeah, he also left one of those bubble tea cups, apparently, I think.
Oh, okay, that's worse.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so he said that he's going to serve his community service, so to speak, by volunteering in animal shelters and live streaming that.
Oh man, that's pretty good.
And then he gave a stern warning to the news stations the news station that had stream sniped him, and said under this chapter code of Taiwanese law, you're not allowed to defame me like that. And then finished his apology, and then went on streaming.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah. I really like the in real life category, to be real honest with you. It's just that it's so easy to abuse it. I get worried.
Yeah, it's horrifying, but also awesome. It's the kind of train wreck you don't want to look away from.
Mm-hmm.
I approach it much the same way I approach EVE Online, in that I really enjoy hearing stories about it, but it's not something I think I would ever participate in.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it live either. It's just
even watching it doesn't really appeal to me because so much of it is just going to be boring bullshit, right?
Yeah, it really is like that. A lot of it is just walking,
Yeah. Like, I have no interest in just watching a random dude walk around. However, I do love hearing about the time that a news station stream sniped him.
Yeah, it is like EVE Online in that sense, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to watch the grinding. I just want to hear about the good shit.
Yeah. Well, if you have any intention of doing an IRL stream, walking around, well, there's your suggestion.
What get stream sniped by a news station?
No, like try to cut out the walking part and do and focus on
so
interesting
hard,
things.
Though.
Well, I mean, one thing that could happen is that instead of walking around aimlessly with a camera, just go to the place, stream from there, and then go somewhere else.
Cease your stream. Yeah.
Yeah, like this in South Korea, the streamers in South Korea, they went to a place with a possum cafe. I mean, that's interesting. Did I tell you about
that's
this?
That's good. No.
Oh, okay. So this streamer, her name is Cho, and she's also notorious. Actually, she got banned on Twitch for a fracas of some kind, but she came back. She seems to be a reasonable person otherwise, but she went to
got banned for frackers.
Oh, for a fracas. How do you pronounce it? With FARCAS, in which it's like a fight of some kind. Somebody punched her in the chest or something while she was wandering around. No, she's from South Korea, right? And she went to New York.
So it's just normal. What? Okay.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, she was having a vacation or something. She decided to stream from her vacation, and somebody went up to her and just punched her, pushed her in the chest. And that's, fighting on stream, quote unquote, is against the terms of service, so she got a temporary ban.
Wow. Was it Alpaca Patrol that punched you?
No, it was a woman, somebody on the streets of New York. I'm not clear on the circumstances, really.
Okay.
Yeah. But she went to a possum cafe in South Korea, and, I mean, on one hand, that's the kind of interesting thing I think people want to see, just unusual places. On the other hand, not a possum cafe, my god, a meerkat cafe. That's totally different.
Okay, I was like, what? Yeah, meerkat cafe is a little bit more understandable. You want to pet a possum? It'll be $2.50. And I'm not responsible if he bites you. He's feisty today. Okay, so a meerkat cafe.
Yeah, I felt sorry for the meerkats because they don't look like they want to be there at all, as you can imagine. Right?
I bet not. Yeah, they're designed to be out on the open plain and bang on the ground when anything approaches their mile radius.
Yeah, there was nothing for them to bury themselves into. It was basically it was soft, like something you see in a daycare, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of like a soft foamy,
like the rubber. Yeah. Oh man. Wow, they must have been so sad.
They didn't look happy, I'll tell you that.
God damn. Were they just constantly banging on the ground? Like, shit, we're in trouble. Everything's bad.
They were kind of running around. They didn't look... I mean, they looked a little distressed, if I'm going to be honest with you, because they're not urban creatures at all, right?
No. Yeah, they're supposed to be out in the middle of nowhere, digging holes, and just making sure nothing comes near them. That's their entire game plan.
Right.
Wow, that sucks.
See,
I imagine they would at least have dirt. I was imagining kind of like an ant farm, but for meerkats, which would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? They've got a bunch of dirt, but there's a glass side so you can see them crawling around under there.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think the meerkats would like that too much either. They'll probably stay in the center, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe if you made the glass mirrored, they would probably still hate it, but I think it would be better if they were at least allowed to dig.
That's true. Like a one-way mirror, you're right.
Yeah. But this is in South Korea.
Yes, this is in South Korea. In North Korea, it's the people who are in the enclosures.
I was gonna make a North Korea joke, and I was like, nah. You picked up my slack, and I appreciate it.
So there is a game out there now. Do you remember that game I played a while ago called Go Go Nippon? My first trip to Japan.
I loved that. Oh.
There is a parody of that game now called Stay Stay, the DPRK, in which I should play that, but like you, I'm hesitant because I don't know what kind of jokes I can make.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So it's a Go Nippon was like a really silly um like Japan tourism simulator where a white guy like meets two hot Japanese girls online and then goes and stays with them, and then they hit on him and also tell him touristy stuff about Japan. And it was really good. It was a visual novel. So you can imagine the North Korean version of this.
Oh, somebody's parody of North Korea anyway.
Yeah. This is good shit. I'm really glad it exists. But yeah, I'm not sure I would let's play it either.
There is a risk to making something like this to a certain degree if you were a bigger studio, right? This is a smaller studio, so it flew under the radar. But if you remember from a couple of years ago, North Korea got mad over Sony making a parody movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Whatever happened to that? Did it release?
The movie got released, I'm sure. I just never watched it, so I don't know.
I remember it got hacked or something.
It did, yes.
I think they never released it in theaters, but then somebody hacked it and released it online.
Something like that.
I think that's what happened. God, that was crazy. That was I think that was in pre-Game Not Game days, where we definitely would have talked about it.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, this is quite convenient because you do have a hacking story to talk about, don't you?
Oh, yes, I do. So we talked a couple weeks ago about somebody was blackmailing Disney over finding, or apparently like getting the finished version of some upcoming Disney movie, probably the new Pirates of the Caribbean. Something similar just happened in the video game sphere. CD Projekt Red, who is famous for doing the Witcher series, including the really, really excellent Witcher 3 that we did as a Game of the Week a while ago. They've been working since finishing The Witcher 3 on a game called Cyberpunk 2077, which is apparently similarly going to be an RPG, similarly to their previous games, that is, but a sci-fi one set in, obviously, the year 2077. And there's very little known about this right now, but they've been working on it since finishing The Witcher 3. And apparently somebody has stolen their early design documents for this thing and tried to ransom them for it. They CD Projekt Red made a tweet saying that somebody took old shit that doesn't really have much to do with how the game is now anyway, and is trying to threaten us and make us pay them so they don't release it online. And they're like, well, double middle finger, fuck you, just release it, motherfucker. Because it doesn't really matter to them anyway. But it's kind of a disturbing trend in, apparently, not apparently, but I imagine it as the same sort of thing to do with the wave of ransomware that happened after there was a security vulnerability in Windows known to the NSA that got out somehow.
Ah, yeah.
And people have been using that to hack everything because it was just a universal vulnerability of, I think, Windows 8.1 and 10 systems. So that's how I imagine it got out, but who knows? It could have been a leak from inside the company or whatever. CD Projekt Red is not talking about it. But they've encouraged people who want to keep the game unspoiled for themselves to just not read anything released by third parties, because it will probably just ruin your experience or have nothing to do with the actual game that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, disturbing trend. It's hopefully we don't see too much more of that and it doesn't become more of a thing. Ransomware is fucked up shit.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well,
there's another version of a similar hack where people get a Trojan onto your computer, and rather than just steal personal information, which was kind of the goal of viruses before that, either that or just fuck with people. Nowadays, there are a lot of viruses that will lock your computer down, encrypt all of your data, and then make you pay to get it unencrypted, which is really messed up.
Yeah.
Back up your stuff, guys. Back up your stuff onto a machine that's not your primary computer in case that happens to you.
Now, I'll tell you something. One actually, this is really bad, of course, but I think there's something else that will eventually happen, which I'm actually really concerned about. And that is that implantable medical devices, a lot of them nowadays have wireless capabilities. Right? Like
yeah,
like
that's the worst idea.
Yeah. Yeah, like pacemakers, right? The pacemakers can send data about the person's cardiovascular health over the internet back to the doctor, and the doctor will know, there's an alert, the doctor knows something's wrong, just send an ambulance over or whatever, and that's the good thing about it, right?
Yeah.
But one of these days, somebody's going to hack a thing like that, and that's going to be trouble.
Yeah, that's so existentially terrifying to me. The idea of a hacker not just being able to fuck with your online virtual stuff, but actually literally say, I will kill you right now if you don't transfer your bank account into my name. Like, ooh, horrible, horrifying.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, these devices, to be clear, don't have that function necessarily, but I mean, they don't, it's not like they're commands that will destroy they're not designed to do that, right? To shut down remotely, as far as I know. But somebody can find a way to do it.
Exactly.
Right?
The problem is, once you have access to a system, you can find things like, oh, let's turn off, this cooling protocol that stops the thing from overheating. Let's, there are ways to just subtly give it commands that will cause it to self-destruct, even if that's not built into the thing. And that's something that hackers have been doing forever.
The way I see it, unfortunately, is that there are these things called implantable cardioverter defibrillators, ICDs, right? Which, for a person who has the potential to die suddenly from a heart attack or from, like, what they call an arrhythmia, those things will, it's like a defibrillator, basically. It will shock you, right? Like one of those AEDs. What I'm afraid is that somebody will actually trigger one of those shocks on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So,
Internet of Things.
Yeah, this is, by the way, the plot to Cyberpunk 2077. We are in possession. No, we are not in possession of anything.
If you want us to not release more CD Projekt Red, fucking respond to my email, you cowards. Oh no. Yeah, it's bad. There are some things that should not be on the internet, and we've talked before about how many of those things are refrigerators and microwaves, but other ones are, pacemakers. Like, things responsible for keeping people alive probably shouldn't have Wi-Fi capability.
Right. But the thing is, though, there is some benefit to that, right? Because
there is.
Yeah, because when something like that happens, you could die in a matter of minutes or hours, right? Especially if you don't realize what's going on, because some of these symptoms might just manifest itself as a chest pain or something, and say, "What is this exactly? I don't know." And
it's a great idea, just having it Bluetooth keyed to your phone or something, so that when it detects something, your phone starts beeping at you. What's a terrible idea is keying it directly into the internet.
Right. So that's the tough part, right? I mean, it's those companies have to be up very much on top of their cybersecurity, but that's also a tough thing to do,
It is. So, it's impossible. You can't possibly know about every vulnerability until it's exploited. And that's been the story of internet security since the internet has existed. You know, it's just people think, oh no, this encryption is unbreakable, and then somebody figures out a way to break it, and then a day later there's a patch and they fix it. But like, it's always that kind of thing. Somebody has to break it before they fix it. Yeah, horrifying stuff. Internet. The world is going to go down in flames. It's going to be because of the internet, and it's going to be specifically because somebody tied the internet into a refrigerator. Telling you now.
Man, are you ready for the Japan news that I promised to lighten things up a little bit?
Yes, Japan. Let's do it.
Japan news. So this is a semi-update to a story we talked about many months ago. And this is basically the phenomenon of idol groups in Japan. And to explain a little bit, idol groups are, usually young women, although there are a bunch of young men idol groups as well, very popular, and they have obsessive fans, right?
Okay.
So in the past, there was a controversy because these idol groups are required to sign contracts in which they say you cannot date you cannot have a relationship of any kind while you are in this idol group. And one person secretly dated a guy, and then because of that, she shaved her head and apologized on the video, right?
Wait, okay, I'm missing the causality a little bit here, but go on.
Yeah, it's hard for me to understand too, but it's not my culture, right? So
Sure.
I don't. Yeah. So yeah, she apologized for dating a guy when she's not supposed to.
By shaving your head.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a form of penance, I think.
Yeah.
So now there has been an idol group that just disbanded because of something similar, but not quite. Right.
Okay.
What happened was that this idol group called Miniature Garden, which is based in Osaka, is splitting up after secret communications with a male fan was found. But the twist here is that none of the 5 people in the group themselves were involved in this secret relationship. Rather, it is one of the singer's mother that was having a secret relationship with one of the male fans.
Okay.
So there's a twist there. The singer started looking through her mother's cell phone and found that she had been sending communications with the male fan in secret. And the mother and the fan will frequently badmouth the other vocalist on that group, and as well as the group's fans. And then after that, the mother and the fan also insinuated that the singers were involved in this indecent relationships with their fans. I have no idea why they would be talking about these things, but this is apparently what happened. And so because of that, they have decided to disband because of the seeds of discord that have been planted in the group by these revelations.
Jeez. Wow, what a mom. Mom of the year.
Mom of the year. Yeah.
Number 1 mom. Get that bitch a mom.
Oh,
Man. That's what a wild world.
It
Japanese
really
pop culture
is. Yeah, I mean, bear in mind that people in Japan are laughing at us here in the United States for various reasons now, I'm sure, but
I'm sure we're the biggest laughingstock in the world at the moment. Let's not fucking twist words here. Things are not great here in America. And that's why it's so great to see that sometimes things are weird in other countries too. In harmless, hilarious ways.
Yeah, just wait until Taylor Swift's mother is found in bed with like one of Taylor Swift's biggest fans, I guess. And then she'll write a song about it.
Oh man.
You know she would if that happened, because Taylor Swift
yeah.
apparently writes songs about everything that happens to her.
Yeah. Her songs are just video blogs, but with music.
Yeah. Yeah, did I ever tell you about the people involved? I think we talked about this. They were upset with her because of a mansion she bought near a beach.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, what happened was that, well, she bought a mansion by the beach, and it's a public beach, so it's not like she bought the beach itself, but people were getting annoyed because Taylor Swift has a security contingent, as you can imagine, and they would stand in the mansion grounds like with binoculars kind of glaring at the people on the beach, as security people sometimes do, you know?
Yeah.
And so there was a little bit of a controversy over that, you know.
Huh. Weird.
But
I feel like if you're on a beach, you're kind of opening yourself out to be, or up to be looked at, you know? Like I don't see how people scanning the beach with binoculars is like I would kind of expect that to happen just from all the houses that are next to the beach if I'm on a beach next to a house, you know?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's Taylor Swift, you know, she attracts controversy.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, but the Japanese group is done. And that's all the Japan news I had, really.
Okay, well, a dynasty falls. Unfortunately, I'm sure their mantle will be picked up soon.
The what?
Huh? I'm sure their mantle will be picked up soon by another group.
Yeah. There's so many of them in Japan. I don't even follow the scene, but whenever I look at it, I just cannot tell the difference sometimes.
There's a political power void now in the Japanese pop culture scene.
Yeah. If you look like a Japanese idol singer and you can sing and you have good relationship with your mother, then maybe you can start a new one.
If your mother is happily married. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Good shit. Let's see. You want to talk about CaveBlazers?
Yeah, let's talk about CaveBlazers.
Man, you know what's amazing is that we came into this stream like we have no fucking topics. What are we gonna do? We didn't even get to all the topics. we're already at 45 minutes. It is game of the week time.
Yeah.
We're good at bullshitting.
Yep.
If there's one thing that we're very, very good at, it's that.
Yes, absolutely. It's our ultimate skill. What do you think of CaveBlazers? What is it?
Okay, so CaveBlazers is a game that many people are heralding as the next Spelunky, or like Spelunky 2. I do not agree that it's that. However, there's a lot of similarities. CaveBlazers is like a level-based roguelike that's a platformer, and there are bats and shit, and you run around and you kill them, and it's... It bears a lot of like superficial similarities to Spelunky, right? Like there are bombs with which that you can destroy the environment. There are a lot of usable items, but however, it kind of diverges from Spelunky mechanically enough that I don't really find it that similar. But if you liked Spelunky, I think there's a lot to like here as well. So CaveBlazers is a game where you have stats. You have stats like, magic damage and range damage and melee damage. There are a lot of different equipment items that are like, different swords and sticks with nails in them and shit to hit stuff with, and different kinds of bows that might imbue your arrows with ice or fire. And potions similar to the Binding of Isaac that will give you a random effect each dungeon, and you have to like figure out, okay, green potion this time poisons you, so don't drink that one, but maybe it doesn't always do that. And there's money, and like Spelunky, you can spend that money on like, oh, give me an item, give me, there are statues that might restore your health. That's even kind of a Risk of Rain style thing. So it takes influences from many, many, many different games. However, I would actually most readily call it like a platformer Binding of Isaac kind of thing. It has a lot of similarities to Binding of Isaac, especially in the way that your abilities can synergize and stack up and make you become kind of a super powerful god if you get lucky. But also sometimes you can just take a bunch of pills that give you -1 speed, -1 luck, etc., and then just die. So it's fun. I really like it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. For a while anyway, I was playing at least one round a night. And just enjoying myself kind of as a kind of a de-stress kind of game, which is kind of weird to say because this is not an easy game.
It is not.
Yeah. It's very challenging, and the game kind of forces you to learn. It doesn't tell you very much at all, but it's up to you to to learn for yourself what the best strategies are for doing everything. Right.
Yeah, and in that way, it's very much like the Binding of Isaac, in that you'll see an item or see a choice of like, oh, I can get one of these 3 items. I don't know what any of them fucking are. You can just kind of guess by what they look like and what they're called, and then and gradually start piecing together like, oh, this is a really good ability that makes my arrows bounce off walls. Oh, this really sucks. This just, this, I don't know. I can't actually think of an example of something that universally sucks, but I'm sure they exist. I don't know enough about the game to know what I don't know. But I know that it will turn out to be like Binding of Isaac, where it's like, you want to find that Polyphemus, you want to find that Brimstone, and then you're set. Kind of thing.
Yeah, I haven't found something along those lines that just overpowers the game. But to your point about this game being more like the Binding of Isaac, I would say this is more of a roguelite than Spelunky ever is. So it's similar to Binding of Isaac in that way because, it's got all the roguish influences, the potions that are unlabeled, and
It's even more roguelike than Isaac is in a lot of ways, in that you have like equipment that you swap out and stuff like that. It's like it's further toward rogue than many current roguelikes are.
Yeah. Yep.
Not to say it's like, a hardcore ASCII roguelike, but it is a little bit more complicated than a lot of roguelikes that come out.
Yep, I totally agree with that. One thing I will say is that a lot of the learning comes, or the learning process, the learning curve, I should say, a lot of it is actually fighting the bosses. Because the bosses, some of them feel downright impossible when you first fight them. And then as you fight them over and over again, you realize, they do have weaknesses. It's just how do you get to them, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's totally, it's a classic, what's like a Dark Souls where you fight the boss and it just kicks the shit out of you, and then you learn like, oh, you move out of the way when it does this is what it looks like when it's winding up for this attack, and you just learn the patterns and then they become beatable. Not that I've gotten there yet, but I can tell already that that's the case.
Yep. Yeah, there's let's see if I can think of an example. There's a stupid jellyfish, which I still don't like very much. But
good intro. So there's a stupid jellyfish.
Yeah, that's a stupid jellyfish. Yeah, one of the things it will do is it will kind of track you. It's floating in the air, right? It will track you wherever you go, and then it will suddenly plunge downwards, grab you, and do a bunch of damage to you that you cannot escape from, right? Except that you can prevent this from happening, either by moving very quickly when it plunges down at you, or swinging your sword upwards to hit it at the moment it plunges down at you. Right. So it took me a while to figure that out, but once I figured out that the swinging your sword upwards actually is effective in many situations, then I became better at fighting that boss or even killing enemies that were above me. Right.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that until just
now.
Good tips.
Yeah. So that's what I mean by the game. The game tells you nothing. It's up to you to figure this shit out for yourself.
Yep. Yeah, I find the game really, really charming. Graphically, it's kind of it looks slightly more advanced than like the original free version of Spelunky, in that it's pixel art and it's very your character is very small and not very detailed, and same for most of the enemies as well. It's nice. It's got a good color palette and everything's just put together really well, and it's a joy to look at.
What game are we talking about? Question in the chat. This is CaveBlazers.
CaveBlazers. It's the one that's playing on the stream right now.
Yeah.
By the way, apologies, viewers, for how bad the gameplay is in the video. I'm pretty new at this game, and also I was not feeling well when I streamed this game, unfortunately, so I kind of fucked up a lot.
Well, if it's any consolation, you seem to have gone up the learning curve a little bit faster than I did in the first hour. Okay. I mean, I've been watching the video this entire time, so...
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. So I do have a few problems with the game. The game does have that issue that you see in some games in which attacks can fly in off the screen.
Yep. That killed me one time. It's not super common, it doesn't seem, or at least it wasn't for me, but it is totally possible to like aggro a ranged enemy and then get off the screen from him, and then it'll just shoot you and you have no way of knowing that you're about to get shot.
Right.
But I think the solution to that is fucking kill ranged enemies before they leave the screen. Not that that's always possible.
There is also a boss that does that. That's the part that actually annoys me.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I have not seen that.
Yeah, so in that case, you have to just be very aware of where... it's a boss with giant stone hands, right? That can fly in off the screen. You have to be aware of where that stone hand can be.
Right.
Or, if you were actually good at the game, which I'm not, you could jump on the stone hand and then jump onto the boss's eyeball and then just stab it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a thing you could do if you're very good at platforming.
Yeah, I can tell the skill cap for this game is very high.
Yeah. Yep.
It's good. One point I made in the stream that for people who compare this game to Spelunky is that I think if you're thinking of this as another Spelunky and kind of expecting it to be, I think that's wrong, and here's why. Spelunky is a game of you versus the environment, where you can really know what enemies are going to do. You can predict their actions if you've studied them enough. In this game, enemies are designed to be more like enemies in most games, in that they're just kind of random. They just jump around, and you can't really know what they're going to do. You just have to react to them as they come. So it's much more combat-focused in that way. And I think the bosses especially are more like that. It's more of a Dark Souls, less of a Spelunky in that way. Your enemy is not, getting hit by a frog that bounces you down a hill and then you bounce into spikes so much. It's more just, you get beaten down by monsters and your health bar reaches 0.
Yeah, Yeah, that nails it. Basically, you're moving from combat situation to combat situation with a bit of exploring along the way.
Yeah, and there's a seriously large number of items in this game, and systems to interact with them. Like for example, there's a system if you find an altar and you put two identical items on it, then they upgrade into one super item. Like one time I got two spiked sticks, which are like just sticks with nails sticking through them, and then together they formed a very, very good stick with nails through it, which was great. And presumably that keeps on going to more advanced weapons, but that's the only time I've ever managed to do it.
I don't think you can combine two supers into a super. I think I've tried that before, but I don't think you can. There is at least one weapon in the game, and also one ring which you picked up, in which you can just combine it with other things and they upgrade themselves.
Oh, I didn't realize I got that ring.
Yeah, it was the crow something. I forget what it was.
Oh man, yeah, that was a super good ring. I didn't read that part apparently.
Yeah. So yeah, itemization in this game is great. You will unlock new items and new perks, which is to say your starting loadout in terms of your abilities and your items as you play more of the game and do the achievements. So there is some kind of like long-term unlocks in this game as well.
Yeah, similar to a Binding of Isaac, but less extreme. There's different perks you can start the game with. I just like whistled through my teeth. That was weird. Doing a Job Bluth. But anyway, there's different perks that kind of affect the way you play the game. Like so far I haven't gotten anything too interesting, but there's a guy who starts with bombs and all of his bombs turned into sticky bombs. There's a guy that makes you do more melee damage. There's a guy that makes you do more range damage and that kind of thing. Presumably they become more nuanced as you go on, but again, I'm pretty early in the upgrade tree in this game.
Yeah. For me, my favorite perk is called the Vortex perk. It gives you a gun, which is the gun that when you combine it with other ranged weapons of any kind will upgrade with random stats, actually, I think. Or rather, random quality. So for example, more explosion damage or plus additional range damage or something along those lines. And then on top of that, every bomb that you'll get at the very beginning of each stage a vortex bomb, which does a field of damage, an area of effect damage for a few seconds. But then there's a penalty, right? You get minus 10% movement speed, and you also get a penalty to your maximum health. Right, which health is actually a problem in this game in the sense that you don't get a lot of it, and it's very easy to lose your health.
Yeah, that's kind of, I think that's like one of the main differences between this game and Spelunky is that in Spelunky you tend, your maximum, the most health you're ever gonna have, you can still die instantly. This game is more about whittling you down. You don't get as much health as you lose unless you're very, very good. Which means that most of your deaths are not going to be from like, oh my god, I got knocked onto spikes and died. It's going to be from over the course of a few levels, I got hit multiple times by enemies and I never got a chance to replenish my health, so I died.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, there's you end up, pretty typical. You have 100 health is your base max health, and filling it fully, very rare. It's typically you'll find like, oh, I got an apple that's going to give me 20 more health, that kind of thing.
Yep. Or you find a shrine, but it takes out a lot of your gold.
Yep. Yeah, like very occasionally you'll find one of those, at least in my experience. I haven't found those very often.
Yeah. But yeah, in general, health is quite scarce to come by in this game.
And I think that also leads into one of my other quibbles about the game. I feel, and I'm very new at the game, so I could be super wrong, but from my limited experience, I feel that melee is extremely underpowered just because it's so much harder to not get hit when you're in melee range.
Right.
So like the range works as you use your right stick or your arrow keys, like in Binding of Isaac, to shoot in 8 directions. You can shoot diagonal any direction or straight any, compass direction, north, south, whatever, or I guess up, down, because it's, side scroller. And that allows you to kind of take out threats from a distance. It probably, if I had to guess, it probably gets less effective late game. I bet there are more gap closers, but at least in the early game, range damage allows you to kind of stay out of combat and take way less damage. Whereas if you melee, you're almost guaranteed for something to just fly into you that you couldn't have predicted, and you're gonna just take hits, and that, as a result, means that melee runs are just much more challenging and feel much more random. It feels much less fair when you get hit. When you're ranging, you can kind of see stuff coming and be like, oh yeah, I should have dodged that arrow.
So the thing about melee, well, a couple of things is, first, you're absolutely right in that in the later levels there will be enemies that will, for example, they'll fire poison bullets at you, right? Mm-hmm. So there are enemies that fire range units at you or arrows at you, but it becomes much more frequent later on, right?
Right.
So that's one thing. The other thing is that melee, in my experience anyway, I played about 6 hours of this game. It has very situational uses for me, but I tend to prefer range, just like you. Yeah. Right. There are some instances in which you want to melee, like what I was talking about the other time. And then also if you fight an enemy up close and if you time it well enough to parry the blow, or you move behind him a little bit and hit him, then you won't get hit. The problem is that the margin of error for melee is a lot more narrow than it is for range, right?
Yeah. Also, responding to visual cues like that is really hard when you're in melee range, because your own character can kind of cover up the enemy sprite.
Yeah,
that's the main issue I have with melee, is like, it feels random when you get hit, not because stuff isn't telegraphed well enough, but just because of the fact that when you're in there, when your character's in there, that creates a lot of visual noise on, around the enemies. So it's really hard to tell, like, oh, that enemy's about to swing his thing at me.
Right. Yeah.
Also, you only get bosses where you really just can't melee them.
No,
like you must shoot some bosses, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely right as well. The thing about melee is that it does more damage than arrows, generally speaking. Right.
Yeah, more damage per second for sure.
Yeah, and there are, I would say, most of the bosses need to be ranged. So that's the other reason why I prefer ranged. Mm-hmm. And then if you, for the most part, you knock them around the range a bit, and then if you manage to hit their weak point, they fall down. And if you happen to be in close enough, you can run up and swing a few times to do more damage, and run away before it can do something to you. But you have to be fast. Right.
Yep.
Cool. So I generally actually really enjoy the game, despite those shortcomings.
Yeah, there's small quibbles, I would say. CaveBlazers is one of the best roguelikes that has come out in the last year and a half or so, if not even longer. It's one of the very few games that's gotten me excited about a roguelike. I got very burned out on the genre for a while, but this one is super, super charming and good and well made and just smart and fun, and it does a lot of things right. It feels very good to play, so I highly recommend it. CaveBlazers.
Yep.
Any final thoughts on that?
I also highly recommend it. It's like you said, for me it's been actually a very long time since I played a roguelike in which I think, just one more round, right? Yeah. Much like Spelunky did back in the day. So to find a roguelike like this is a pleasant surprise nowadays, and I highly recommend it for anyone who's a fan of the genre.
Totally. All right, so that's going to be our podcast this week. Next week, we're doing, for Game of the Week, Steven's Sausage Roll. This is an infamous puzzler that's incredibly difficult about rolling sausages and cooking them just right. And it was recently in a Humble Bundle that we both picked up. I think it was on the top tier along with a previous Game of the Week, but I can't remember which one it was anymore.
Curious Expedition, I want to say.
Curious Expedition, that's right. So if you picked up that same bundle, then you should also have Steven's Sausage Roll in your library. Check it out with us, and we'll talk about that next week. I'm going to be streaming that Wednesday at 7:30 PST at twitch.tv/green9090 if you want to hang out and watch me not solve any puzzles, probably. And or backseat me. Please, God, come and backseat me and help me out. That would be helpful. And so we'll be doing that. Also, make sure to make your way over to youtube.com/Zen and Cyrene. That's where the next Game Not Game podcast VOD is going to be, if you want to check that out. And subscribe to him. He's been doing crazy shit with Dr. Decker, right?
Yeah, I've been playing a game called the Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker, and it has thrown me for a loop. It's one of those games that's a slow burn, but once it starts punching, it really starts punching, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, so that's an exciting Let's Play. Get over there, check out his gameplay content. Check out the half of the VODs you've been missing if you haven't subscribed to him yet. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yep, be sure to go over to twitch.tv/green9090 if you haven't done so already, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.